Hi, I'm Steve Jeppe, and I'd like to welcome you to Jeppe's Entertainment Museum. In 1974, I quit my job as a letter carrier at the U.S. Postal Service and opened a small comic book store in the basement of a TV repair shop. Little did I realize that from that humble beginning would grow this incredible pop culture collection you see here today. At the center of that collection is the comic character. The Brownies, Buster Brown, Mickey Mouse, the Lone Ranger, Superman, Barbie. These are just some of the characters who've made a tremendous impact on our individual childhoods while at the same time shaping our collective experience. As you wander through these halls, you will see the history of the country and our changing society reflected in those characters and the media through which they entertained us. Why are these characters so important to us? Perhaps it is their power to distract us. They've brought us relief in times of trouble, like the Great Depression and World War II. Today, they help us escape the pressure and stress of our ordinary, everyday lives.
Hi, my name is Andy Hirschberger, and I'm the Associate Curator at Jeppe's Entertainment Museum, and this is KOOL Collectables at Kids Corner. I'd like to show you right now one of our personal favorites, a perennial favorite. This is Mr. Potato Head. Except he probably doesn't look exactly like your Mr. Potato Head or Toy Story's Mr. Potato Head. This is an early 1968 version. And this isn't even the earliest version of Mr. Potato Head. Do you know what you would get in the first box of Mr. Potato Head? This. That's right. Just things to put into a real potato. You would get a set of eyes, feet, eyebrows, noses, hands, and then you would also have to go to the store and get this, which is a substitute for a real potato, which you would then put your little feet into, put your little eyes into, and when I say your eyes and your feet, I meant the ones that came in the bag, not literally your feet and eyes, and just build yourself up a Mr. Potato Head. Now, Mr. Potato Head has stayed incredibly popular, thanks in no small part to Toy Story, Toy Story 2, and Toy Story 3, where he was voiced by Don Rickles, where he's now become a sarcastic little devil. So, you're in outer space. Why does your mask not have a back? Looks like you're going to disintegrate immediately. Hey, why don't you watch it, Mr. Potato Head? Don't shove your eye in my face. It's not my eye, it's your... There you go, Mr. Potato Head. Oh no, looks like I'm going to be attacked by a big piece of lettuce. I'm not lettuce, I'm a... This Mr. Potato Head is from Mr. Potato Head on the Moon. And as you can see, Mr. Potato Head has got a little dancing stick, a straw hat, and dancing shoes. Mr. Potato Head is a born dancer. This one is a born hopper, because he's only got 1 foot and 2 eyes. Sort of like a Sesame Street puppet, almost expecting to go womp, womp, womp. This was made in 1968 to commemorate the moon landing, and I'm sure Neil Armstrong brought one of these up into space with him to bide his time while he was just sitting in a capsule with 3 of his close buddies. Of course, their capsule didn't look like a cucumber, because in Mr. Potato's universe, everything is a vegetable. What Mr. Potato Head's best gift was to discourage children from actually eating their vegetables, because they now knew that their cucumber was actually a rocket ship. Mr. Potato Head was alive, and so was the green pepper that they didn't want to eat anyways. Mr. Potato Head has remained popular, but in the 70s and 80s he became sort of more of a generic character. Just one basic form, Mr. Potato Head with his interchangeable eyes. Mrs. Potato Head, and that seemed to be it. But recently, all sorts of new and exciting people have licensed themselves to Mr. Potato Head. Like, for example, Beth, I hear you calling, but I can't come home right now. Me and the boys are playing, and we just can't find the sound. That's Peter Criss. These are the Kiss Mr. Potato Heads. You have Paul Stanley, Gene Simmons, Ace Frehley, and of course, Peter Criss the author of Beth, the highest ranking American single for the rock band Kiss. And this is the Kiss Army of potato heads. So if ever you were trying to tell your mom that you don't like potatoes or you don't want to eat French fries, you can always just say, I'm a member of the Kiss Army and I can't eat my favorite band. I can only listen to them. Of course, a potato lying on a table doesn't make much of a sound. Maybe you threw it against something, it would sound better. Anyway, so Mr. Potato Head is still around, still popular. Well, that's it for today from Cool Kids Collectibles. Make sure we were filmed at Jeppy's Comic World in Jeppy's Entertainment Museum. These items are on display at Jeppy's Entertainment Museum, so come on down, have a look, see vintage, see contemporary. We have the entire spectrum of the toy universe. Come on.
These characters have played a large and largely unrecognized role in our education. Batman comic books helped me to learn to read when I was 5 years old. Thanks, big guy. That experience fostered a lifelong love of reading. I had dreamed of creating this museum for almost 30 years, but where to build it? When I toured Camden Station for the first time in 2003, I realized I had finally found the home these characters so richly deserved. Abraham Lincoln passed through this building 4 times. When Babe Ruth left his boyhood home of Baltimore to play for the Boston Red Sox, he took a train from this very station. Today, the first floor houses Sports Legends at Camden Yards, a museum which chronicles the history of Maryland sports. If there is a more appropriate place to display the history of pop culture in America, I can't think of it. I've been called Baltimore's biggest cheerleader. Guilty as charged. Heck, I even bought the City magazine. I was born and raised in Little Italy, an ethnic neighborhood just across the Inner Harbor from here. I love this city and all of its spectacular attractions. From the National Aquarium and the Science Center, to the Walters Art Gallery and Museum of African American History and Culture, to the restaurants of Fells Point and Little Italy, Baltimore has something for everyone. I urge you to visit all of those places and experience everything this magnificent city has to offer. But first, I'd like you to take a trip with me in my time machine to discover or revisit all the wonderful characters, friends I call them, that have shaped our popular culture. And don't be afraid to say, hey, I had that when I was a kid. I do it all the time.